Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I've got this weekend message coming to you, which is really all about, ultimately your two choices in relationship. You can either go for short-term discomfort, a little short-term discomfort, or long-term irreparable damage. And I really want to dive into this because I think that it is a seriously important topic for each and every one of us who are in any form of relationship. And let me turn my notifications off. And, I really think that most of us can let our good intentions get in the way of long-term success in our relationships. And that's really what I want to dive into today, because I've experienced it myself multiple times. I see it happening all the time with beautiful human beings from across the globe, and it's all stemming from good intentions, but it's absolutely damaging our relationships beyond repair in the long term. And so I'm hoping that what I'm going to share with you guys today, which is pretty much these 13 different steps that happen throughout our relationships, and I just started brainstorming it this morning, and I think that when we can look at things this way, it can help give us, some information and knowledge and wisdom about what's actually going on in our subconscious, so that we can ultimately not be prisoner to our wiring and actually be intentional about what we're looking to create. And so I'm definitely going to dive into that with you, but ultimately where it stems from is when we let all the small things stack. And those small things end up, becoming these really big things that, we have good intentions, something comes up for us and we feel like it's not a big deal, so we don't address it. And we have best intentions, we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to upset anybody. We don't want to, we just end up kind of walking on these eggshells, and our intentions are great and pure. But if we actually look at what really goes on when every single time we don't speak up, when something upsets us or shakes us up a bit, and we think it's kind of small in the short term and in the moment, but I'm telling you right now, it's the biggest disservice we do to ourselves and to our relationships when we don't speak up about the little things. And like I said, I'm going to go through what I've kind of laid out this morning, which is kind of like this system that this pattern that we all go through whenever we let the small things stack, and we do it for the best intentions, like I said, but we're actually damaging the relationship, and I'm going to show you how that happens today. But I'm really hoping that you guys are thinking about your relationships, current relationships, maybe your past relationships, and also hoping that it'll get you more intentional about the way you want to handle and move into relationships moving forward. But let me kind of dive into that with you. So number one, what really happens is that something small is said or done from another person. So whoever that person is, oftentimes it can be our intimate partner. That's kind of going to be where it's most magnified in our relationships, is probably with our intimate partner. That's where all the stuff is magnified and becomes a lot more emotionally charged than any other relationship dynamic. But this plays out in every single relationship. So first thing that happens, somebody says or does something, or doesn't say or do something that, we ultimately, move on to making that mean something that doesn't make us feel good. And what happens is, once we make that meaning up about whatever that person said or did or didn't say or didn't do, we made it mean something, and then we have a choice. Do we get clarity over what was really going on for that person? Do we express, I might not have got this right, but this is kind of how I made this thing mean, and I don't want it to get in between us, But if we don't do that, we let it stack, and we suppress that negative emotion. And we might think in the short term that's the right thing to do, because we don't want to rock the boat, we don't want to upset anybody, we don't want to make a big deal out of nothing in our minds. But what happens is we've forgotten that emotions are energy. And, energy has to go somewhere, and if you suppress it it ends up as a resentment, it ends up as an anger, it ends up as an unspoken hurt that we keep carrying around with ourselves. And what goes on in our subconscious is that we map this negative emotion, this negative charge, to our perception of this person. And we kind of file it away in our subconscious about this person. We make it mean something, we don't express it, that energy has to go somewhere. We store it in this little file about this person. And as time goes on, we haven't expressed, so, that person has no idea what meaning we're creating. We're not giving them an opportunity to make a change. And what happens is, inevitably, they're going to say, do, or not do the same sort of thing or something similar. And we're going to, again, take on that little emotional negative charge that because we've made it mean something, now we're putting it in that file, and gradually over time we're creating a negative monologue about who this person is. We're creating a story. They always do that. They never do that. They're this sort of person. And over time, all those best intentioned holding on of those negative emotions, they're storing up, creating this negative monologue about this person, and you're not educating them on yourself and what's going on for you. You're not giving them any sort of opportunity to make amends and change and shift so that you can create depth in your relationships. You're creating your own negative story about who this person is, and over time, you just keep, every time they say something, don't say something, whatever it is that you're creating that meaning around, you're filing it and storing it and stacking it until it becomes this big wall of resentment, anger, unspoken hurt, and without any opportunity for them to say, hey, I can make amends here, I can make a change here, didn't know it affected you like that, now I've learned something new about you, I can change it. You haven't given them that opportunity. So what happens is, over time, you're stacking all that energy, all that resentment, all that anger, all that hurt, and eventually it explodes to the point where you've created such a story about who this person is, such negative energy and emotion stacked against them without them even knowing, that you've come to this place where when it explodes out, it's irreparable, because this person feels completely misunderstood. They feel like, you're assuming the absolute worst of them. You've not given them any opportunity to create a dialogue instead of your internal negative monologue. And ultimately, what could have been, two loving individuals who both want to just love fully and be loved fully, you've created such a wall with your good intentions that the damage becomes irreparable, because it ends up, all of that energy stacked becomes an explosion of which could have just been some short-term little bit of discomfort that could have allowed you to grow and deepen your connection and understanding of one another, has now been over time long-term irreparable damage. And I'm sure if you're a human being, you can look throughout your life and your connections and your relationships and see how this has already played out in your life, or you may be in the middle of it right now. And I hope that today's message either gets you waking up to that now and starting to speak the unspeakables. Don't let them stack. Start tearing down that wall through communication and ownership of the meanings that you're creating and the negative story that you've created about this person without them having any say in it and without giving them an opportunity to go deeper with you. Your good intentions in the short term can often be the greatest disservice that you do to yourself and to your relationships. And I'm really, really hoping that me sharing this with you guys today is going to ideally give you a new perspective, give you a little bit more awareness, or force you into focusing on the dynamic that's currently at play or has been at play, so that you don't have to repeat that pattern in the future, because that's kind of human wiring. It's kind of, if we just let our lives, if we live on default, that's where we go, and we don't even know, and we end up in this emotional, just draining place where we just don't even know how we got here. To individuals who just want to love and be loved. but definitely want to hear from you guys if you've got any experiences or any comments or feedback or any wisdom you want to share with any of us out here trying to create extraordinary quality of relationships. We'd definitely love to hear from you. So drop a comment below and let me know. And definitely, guys, I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing that interview that I did with the incredible Dr. John Demartini. So much wisdom. I've watched it multiple times already because it was just mind-blowing. And if you love learning and you really want to expand your consciousness and evolve and grow and reach a new level of your potential, number one, definitely check out that interview that I did. It's a YouTube link up above. And secondly, come on over and join us in the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. We'd love to have you a part of that. And I really want to check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me today. So say hi. I always love seeing you guys. And I've got Sam in the house. I love it. And Elliot and Kenny and Jody. And hello to you, Elliot. And Caden's here. And Go Cool. And Hassani. Oh, and Ian. And happy day to you, Caden. Superstar. And Sam, first time to see you in pants. Oh, okay. I wear pants every now and then, but you guys do know I have an addiction to dresses. I hope you know that. Jeannie's here, and Mia, and Jim, and Lynn, and Jamie, and Jason, and Ashley, and Wayan, and Turia, and Morris, and Stephen, and Vicky, and Hilton, and Mike, and David. Awesome. And Elliot, only works if one's partner is willing to give up being right. Yeah, what I would say is over time, yes, you both need to be able to, you can be right, you can be happy, or you can be right, that whole saying. But it's not about, I really do believe that we have to be the leader in all dynamics in our relationships. Gandhi's quote, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the change you wish to see in your relationship. Don't get hypocritical, like we all fall into that pattern where we're judging others for judging, or, we're judging others, and not wanting to move forward with them until they can lose their necessity to be right, unbeknownst to us that we're currently stuck in that pattern ourselves, wanting them to not be right, but we're trying to be right about that. So, this is that whole crazy psychology that goes on for each and every one of us. So, personally, I have decided that in all of my relationships, all I can take charge in is my responsibility that I have about how I operate and show up, and to operate in such a way that I can be proud of and live regret-free of without expecting anybody else to show up like me. But over time, if somebody doesn't follow suit and they can't continue to evolve and grow, that's where you may need to say, you know what, hey, we're just not on the same page here, but give people time and you be the leader and do what you do without any expectation for them to change who they are. Because the sooner you do that, as soon as you're just giving to get and you don't even know it, you're again, our best intentions can sometimes be our greatest detriment to our relationships. So, but yes, I definitely love you being a part of the conversation as always, Elliot. You are so appreciated. And Sam, this is really a powerful message, helps me to elevate my previous relationships. Evaluate my previous relationships. That is awesome, Sam. I think that there is so much power to be had and to be gained from reflecting onto our past relationships, how we responded, how we handled it, what the dynamic we were a part of creating, and how we can, improve and make things better moving forward. Absolutely. So I love hearing that, Sam. And Bradley's here, and Sherdha, loving that you're finding some value here. And Kaden, most definitely been there. Absolutely with ya. And Sam, people-pleasing tendencies hindered me speaking my truth at the moment. Absolutely, that's what I mean by best intentions. But, until we can get over that whole not wanting to upset people, that whole not wanting to rock the boat, that may be well-intentioned, but you're not giving people an opportunity to go deeper with you, and you're not giving yourself an opportunity to grow in your courage and your authenticity, which is paramount for any kind of relationship. You know, without that authenticity and that courage, you're not going to go the depths of love. So, you know, we have to get over our good intentions and our people pleasing and whatever the rest of it is, and recognize that, you know, I always call myself a recovering people pleaser, but where that stems from is that fear of rejection. But nobody can reject you when you're being authentically you and you're operating in your highest self as in a way that you're proud of and that you will have no regrets over. As soon as you start operating in alignment with your higher self, with how would my higher self show up here? What if I projected into the future? What could I reflect back and be proud of myself about how I handled this moment and ensure that I don't have any regrets? And if you show up from that place, your fears of rejection, which, you know, stem into people-pleasing tendencies, they go out the window, and you're willing to withstand that short-term discomfort for long-term success of your relationships. So I absolutely hear you and resonate with what you're saying there, Sam. Definitely been my experience. And Owen's there. Hello. And Kaden, how would you... I love your questions. Yay. I'm already excited. I don't even know what your question is. How would you handle someone who's currently avoiding confrontation when you patiently communicate to avoid this type of dynamic? Yeah, absolutely, Kaden. I experience this all of the time in my relationships, and it's something that I feel like I've just assumed the role of a leader of love, right? So what that means to me is in order to have depth of connection and love in our relationships, look at the end goal. What are you looking to create? What are you looking to get to? Because if we have a vision of, you know, depth of connection, authentic love, depth, no pretense, truth, honesty, openness, if that's what we're looking to strive toward, then we can use that vision to pull us through the discomfort. And what I would absolutely say to you is to be a leader, like I'm saying, be a leader in your communication. You know what I do? I actually just confront those people in the most loving way possible. And how I do that is I set intention with that person before I communicate what the challenge is. So I say, hey, you know, whoever it is, you know, if I don't know the relationship that you're referring to, but it might be, hey, you know, hey Joe, hey Joe, you know, I really, really value our relationship and our connection, and I really would love to have a conversation with you that my intention is to be in the most loving, connected depth that we've ever been before. My intention is for our success. And, you know, are you open to having that conversation with me? You know, there's a whole dynamic, a whole kind of structure that I use in terms of bringing up difficult conversations. It depends who you're really talking to, but I think set intention so that you get people's defenses down. You know, if they know that you have their best intentions at heart and the relationship success at heart, they're going to bring their walls down and be more open to the communication. And then secondly, you know, just be honest, just be open, and you have to be a leader. If you want more openness, if you want more vulnerability, if you want more truth and authenticity, you have to show that, and you have to communicate that that's what you want. Nobody is a mind reader. Even if you think it's the good things that you think we all want, you have to express that, and if it feels uncomfortable, more so reason why you have to do it. Be the leader, create a vision, and definitely confront them with it. Don't play their game at avoiding what needs to be spoken. In all of my relationship dynamics, I just speak it out. If I feel like I'm an open book in this regard, like if I feel like something's coming between the depth that we could be creating, and I really value that relationship, I don't care if it's got to get uncomfortable. I have created in my mind now, I would rather us have an argument, a fight, a disagreement, negative stuff come up to the surface, I don't shy away from that anymore. I used to think that was bad. I used to think if there was any sort of tension or negativity, it meant the relationship shouldn't be. I don't have that belief anymore. My belief is we're human beings, we have best intentions, we don't always operate emotionally intelligently, and whoever can go first needs to step up and go first. Whoever has a strong vision needs to express it and needs to be open to whatever comes out in, shifting our belief that any challenge is not meaning that the relationship is going to fail. Any challenge is an opportunity to grow and deepen. And if you value truth, authenticity, depth, love, all those amazing things that we're here on earth to really experience, then you'll get over your fears of the short-term discomfort and confront it. But make sure that you're doing it in the best, most intentional, most emotionally intelligent way by allowing them the opportunity to lower their defenses, by making sure they know that you've got their best interests at heart and the relationship dynamics best interests at heart. They'll love you for it. You'll allow them to grow and progress, and you'll definitely be growing and progressing within yourself with courage, depth, authenticity, all those beautiful things that I know and you know we definitely love. So hope that answered your question, Kaden. You guys know I love your questions, so thank you. And Alias, I'm loving that this resonated with you, and much, much love to you. And Gokul, thank you so much. I'm grateful that you're finding value here. And Safoncia and Edwin, nice to see you. And Fam and Abdul and Sam. Asking for clarification and expressing my feelings and thoughts has helped me from forming stories and false impressions. Absolutely. That's the wiring that we have to stand against if we want to create extraordinary depth and connection in our relationships, is to recognize that if we live life by default, we stack up all these little negative files in our subconscious, and they end up generating these monologues and these stories about who a person is without them even knowing and being able to actually clear the air and create understanding and go deep in our connection. So we have to be more intentional, and we have to recognize that this is the process that goes on when we just leave life to default, instead of designing what we want by having vision and knowing our wiring, knowing how we operate, and so being intentional about stepping into those discomfort, those areas of discomfort, so that we can ultimately have long-term success. So absolutely, Sam, thank you. And Abdul, thank you for being here, and many blessings to you. And Sharif, you can't please everyone at the same time. True, exactly. And to think that we've got to go and do that and please everybody, that is just setting ourselves and everybody else up for failure. Know who you are, know what's important to you, create vision of where you want to get to, and have the courage to share that, express it, and move toward it despite any short-term discomfort. So absolutely, Sharif. And you know what? If you try and please everybody, particularly at the expense of yourself, you're never going to be able to, make yourself happy and please yourself. And all that does is place, this burden on the people that love you, who want to see you happy and want to see you living to your highest potential. So you've got to look after what matters most to you if you ever want to be of any positive impact and influence on the people that you love most. So definitely. Thank you, Abdul, and thank you so much for joining. And Ahmed and Manuel and Fam, how to be confident like you. Fam, you know what? Confidence stems from just being authentically 100% unapologetically you. But what happens is we don't always know who we are. And so, if you've listened to any part of my story, I'm not going to reiterate my entire story here for you guys, but I used to call myself the chameleon, because I didn't know who I was, and I was really good at being whoever other people, my perception of who they wanted me to be, to make them happy, but it was always at the expense of my truth and not knowing who I was. When I went on the journey of being absolutely who I am, without, and really just valuing my opinion of myself over and above the judgments and opinions of anybody in my external world, that is where I believe true confidence always stems from. That is why I do the work that I do in terms of helping people live authentic lives by uncovering exactly who they really are, what they really want, and having the courage and the determination to go after it and create it, and ultimately discover what their key strengths and gifts are and give them to the world so that they can feel like their lives truly matter. And if you start living authentically and you make a meaningful difference in your unique way, that is, the greatest courage generator I could ever hope for any of us to experience. So hope that answered your question there. You've got to know who you are, and you've got to align fully with what matters most to you, despite any judgments, criticisms, whatever, voices, opinions, anything from the external world. Do it with heart and do it with soul, and you will have absolute confidence, no doubt about it. And Anita's here, and Laura, and Amit, thank you so much. And Abdul, I hope that my question there spoke to you. My answer to Fem's question regarding confidence. What do I think about Allah? Abdul, I would love to be educated more on Allah and different religions. I love diving into different religions and different religious beliefs of every part of the globe, wherever you come from. It is fascinating to me, and I think that we all need to have this open-minded curiosity to understand other people without judgment and without being so close-minded with even knowing where people's beliefs come from. And, with that open-minded curiosity is, I think, the greatest freedom. So to be honest, I don't know too much about your religion, Abdul, or Allah, but I'd love to learn a lot more. So hope that answers your question. And Bill's here, and Safan, yes, love it. I'm loving that this was resonating. And AJ, how do you fully get over heartbreak? Why does it hurt even when you know they're not number one? AJ, awesome question, and thank you so much for presenting it to all of us, because that is part of the human experience. We've all experienced heartbreak, and ultimately what I see heartbreak as is it's this feeling of grief. It's this feeling of loss, okay? So I believe that any time we experience some form of heartbreak, it's because we feel like we've lost something, or something is missing that used to be there, right? So we've lost something in our lives, and we're currently going through a grieving process for everything that we feel is missing. Now, I'm starting to learn right now, I can't get over, every single day I keep mentioning Dr. John Demartini. Oh my gosh, you guys know I'm diving into his work right now so much. So I'm really diving into his work and understanding around what goes on in terms of our perception, and every experience that we have is perception. It's all mind-made. Every single thing is based on what we perceive it to be, what meaning we attach to it. And heartbreak, I'm going to use as the example here, as using heartbreak comes from that feeling of loss, that you've lost all the positive side, and you've got only negative. So it's about balancing out your perception. And sometimes that takes you getting clear, because you mentioned there, why does it hurt even if you know that they're not the one, right? So I'm assuming that you're having this heartbreak because you've lost an intimate partner in your life. That's what I'm going to work on this analogy for you with. So consciously we might know, if we really think about it rationally, logically, we know, if I really think about it, this person wasn't for me. We didn't really add up. We weren't really going in the same direction. We can think logically and rationally, but there's that part of us that is still grieving, So I think that there is potentially this time that we need to grieve the loss and readjust, because our identity can oftentimes be caught up in another individual being part of who we are. And if we're feeling that grief or that heartbreak, I would say that that is a wake up to us to inform us that we are seeing only negative about our situation where we are right now, and we haven't taken the time to create a positive or see the positives that are currently available to us and create an inspiring, compelling vision for ourselves that is new, that doesn't include that person who has left our lives. And so until we create that, and until we get attached to something that is positive and freeing about what life is currently presenting ourselves with right now, what does reality actually look like? How do we bring that into balance? And also coupled with, what do I want it to look like? And what am I progressing toward? You know, that doesn't have to stay stuck in the past and the way things were, but it's actually looking at the way things really are actually right now, and how do I want them to look moving forward? How can I get to a new level? And what are the steps that I'm progressing with? You know, I love what Tony Robbins says, which is that ultimately happiness, progress equals happiness. It's so true. So that we need to stop getting stuck in the past and have a pathway forward that will allow us to feel a sense of progress, that will help to overcome the heartbreak, and to find, if you feel like there's certain things that are missing because this person is no longer there, identify what are those things that you feel you're missing out on right now, and find where they are currently in your reality, whether you're showing up at a higher level in those things that you feel like you're missing, or the people around you are fulfilling what you feel is missing from that one person. It is a journey of getting into balance, and if what I'm saying is not quite making sense, or if you feel like I could be adding more value to you on the individual level, so you know, give me a bit more information so I can help you personally on that, definitely I'll put a link to my calendar, and you can book in a 15-minute power session with me so I can make sure you're getting this. But ultimately it's about balancing out our perceptions, leaving the past behind by creating an inspiring, compelling vision moving forward, and creating the steps of progress so that we can get out and get over that heartbreak and that grief, but definitely looking at reality and seeing that everything's always in balance, and it's a matter of balancing out your perception. Nothing is ever lost. You need to really identify for yourself where everything is as it should be and in place, and definitely progressing in a direction that will take you to a new level. So really hope that that was helpful to you, AJ. Thank you so much for the question, and much love to you, Roba. And again, Abdul Islam, I don't have enough information, but like I said, I am such a learner, and I love learning about all different cultures, religions, experiences, and I don't think that we can have a true opinion of anything until we have really experienced things for ourselves and been open-minded in our curiosity and our learning and our expansion. So I hope that that answered your question there, Abdul, and I'm loving that you're loving listening to these messages. I love having you here. And Kaden, always excited to catch you live so I can ask. Yes, I love that. Yes, indeed, stepping up and knowing you have the ability to lead in the situation is vital. Always in deep appreciation of you. Oh, I'm in deep appreciation of you as always, Kaden, and I love that that resonated and that was helpful. That's awesome. And fam, how to make the right decision? Great question. It's a big one. There's so many different angles that I like to take on this. As you guys know, I hope you guys know, I work in personality psychology. It's a big piece of the work that I use with my clients. And without going into the depths of that, because we'd be here all day, there are different cognitive functions or mental processes that we all have access to, but there's one decision-making process for each of us that we use as our key strength. And if we can get you identifying what that is, and you know how that process works, you can utilize it to make your best decisions in life, definitely. But that's very in-depth, and I'd need to work with you on the individual level for that. And but as a general rule, how do we make the best decisions? definitely, you have to know what matters most to you. You have to know what your highest values are in life, what matters most, what's most meaningful, what's most inspiring to you. And you also want to have clarity based on those values and what most matters to you. You want to create a vision that you are working towards, that your values and your visions become your greatest filter in terms of making your decisions. Does the decision move you in the direction of living in alignment with your values, which are ultimately your authenticity, your truth of who you are, and also where you want to get to, your vision of what you're looking to create, the life you want to lead, and also your vision of your higher self, who you're most inspired to grow into. Those are the kind of filters that we need in order to make the best decisions. And so that's what I would say. And also educate yourself. Don't make rash decisions. Educate yourself on the different options. Future project. Use the power of projecting into the future about the options that you have to decide upon. And from that place, make a qualified decision, and don't filter it through the judgments and opinions and potential criticisms or rejections of others. Make sure that it's in total alignment with what you know to be right in your core. I hope that was valuable. It was a really big question for me, fam, and I love your questions. And I hope that was of some value for you, got you thinking. Sam, I appreciate you and your wisdom and your compassion, my friend. Thank you. And Josie's here. And AJ, could you see my question? How do you get over? Oh, I think you might have written this after I answered your question. So let me know, AJ. And Mikkel's here, and Jen, and Robin, and Lauro, and Abdul, thank you so much. Wishing you a happy life as well. And Charlie's here, and Safon, appreciate your positivity. Thank you, Safon. I appreciate you being here. And Ray, and Maggie, and Heather, and oh, okay, AJ, sorry, you saw. Awesome. Yeah, what I tend to do is I kind of just talk about whatever topic I feel is going to be valuable to you guys, and then I check in with you guys. So it might be a little while till I see your questions, but I always flick through. For some reason, some of your comments, if anybody can let me know what goes on when you do a Facebook Live, because I don't always see people's comments. They don't always come up until afterwards. And I don't know, it's a weird thing. I don't know if it's maybe because we're not friends or something, but let me know if you have any technical knowledge on Facebook Lives. And fam, how to have energy to do things all day. Oh, another big question, and I love it, fam. Thanks for being here and asking me my favorite things. I love questions. So, in terms of energy, different trains of thought here. A lot of times you can look at the biological, physical level. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you looking after your stress? Have you got the right nutrition? And you're exercising, all those sorts of things. But I really do believe that when we can access what we call your flow state, and again, I'm bringing personality psychology into this, we all have our number one strength in the mental processes that we all have access to, but we have one in particular that is absolutely our key strength. And when we're operating in that zone, it's our flow state. We kind of just can keep going and going and going without thinking about sleep or food or all of that stuff until we have to. So when we can access that flow state, that gives us so much energy. And also when we're doing things that inspire us, when we're tapping into what really matters most and it totally inspires us, that gives us so much, untapped energy as well, particularly if we can see what we're doing is getting us someplace we want to get to. So I'm reiterating values, vision, those big musts. And I must say, guys, I'm actually in the process of creating an incredible program for you guys because throughout the years working with my clients, I find myself reiterating the basics, taking them through the basics. Around some of them are vision and values. And so over time, I'm like, I really would love to get more people accessing this stuff, which are just those foundational pieces that are kind of the prerequisites for really going deep and creating an extraordinary quality of life. and reaching new levels of your potential. So I'm actually creating a program of that as I'm speaking to you guys right now. So I can't wait to get it out to you guys. I'm hoping it's not going to be too long, because it's really going to teach you guys the main stuff I'm talking about right now that matters. You know, getting that big picture, getting that clarity, knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and having the courage to go after it. That's what I'm all about. And I think until we get to that, until we know who we are, what we want, we're going after it, we're actually not living authentic, energized, inspiring lives that are, you know, our greatest gift and our greatest genius to be, you know, shared with from on the planet. So if we're not doing that, we haven't yet started living. And so that's why I'm creating this program for you guys. So I can't wait to share it with you. And you guys, just with your questions, you're reinforcing just how important that stuff is. So thank you, fam. I hope that answered your question there. I could go seriously deep in terms of health around that. Of course, Abdul, thank you so much for giving your time to me and being here. I love that. And I've got Gordon and Gordon Ellison, whoops, and AJ. I agree 100%. Perception is very true. You really want someone to be someone that you really don't want someone to be someone they're not. Grief is a process. Thanks a lot. I never grieved, to be honest. Delayed grief. Thank you. I'm glad that resonated with you, AJ. It's awesome. And Xavier's here. And awesome. I'm loving that, AJ. That's great. And Abdul, how to be leadership, same with you, with more confidence. Again, Abdul, I would say that, you know, we step up and become leaders of our own lives when we align with the truth of who we are. We know who we are, we know what we want, and we're going after it. So when we are authentic, that is what generates true confidence. You know, not put on confidence, but actually true, deep confidence. It's all in alignment with how authentic we are and how much we're taking action in the direction of what's most authentic to us, instead of subordinating to other people, their opinions, their values, their visions. We're creating our own. So hope that answers your question. And Mary's here, and David and Dan and Ramon, and I love that you're a learner too, Abdul, and Marco's here, and Sean, hello to you, and Thomas, great content, this speaks volumes to me. Thanks for sharing. I'm so grateful to hear that, Thomas. Thank you so much for letting me know. And where do I see myself in 10 years? Oh, okay. That's a big question, one that I've been answering at Master Planning for Life a couple of weeks ago, Dr. John D. Martini event. I actually projected 100 years forward. So I've been doing some big picture vision planning, which doesn't come all that naturally to me because I'm quite an in the moment, spontaneous kind of person. But in 10 years from now, if you guys are interested in hearing this, you know, what I wish to do in the world is, you know, be traveling the world to all parts, to all corners of the globe, speaking from stage, inspiring people to live with courage and authenticity, to absolutely uncover who they really are, what they really want, and have the courage to go after it, like I keep reiterating to you guys there. But I really want to feel like in 10 years from now, I'm making a seriously meaningful difference. I've got a team of incredible people who are absolutely on the same mission that I'm on, and we're all working together to really wake people up to their genius, to wake them up to the greatness that they have within themselves. And if they want to, you know, create businesses out of that, if they wish to. If not, just be living authentically and in alignment with that greatness. And yeah, I picture myself living a life where I'm constantly traveling, like I kind of am doing, but on a much grander scale, changing lives as I can, having a positive impact, and ideally in person, you know, at events, running my own events and things like that. Definitely love the online stuff, but I love nothing more than actually getting to connect with you guys, and nothing inspires me more than helping people wake up to their greatness, because we all have it, and it's oftentimes so untapped in our lives. That, you know, it's my mission in life to wake you up sooner rather than later to that greatness and align with it. and I wish to be doing that on a much, much, much larger scale than I currently am, but I'm building toward it. So thanks for the question. And hobbies. Okay. All right. You guys are asking me lots of questions. I love it. I hope it's valuable to all of you guys out there. But Abdul, my hobbies, I mean, what I do in terms of teaching and learning and definitely my health. So my hobbies come from my highest values, you know, teaching, learning, my beauty and my health, and also traveling. They're really what most inspires me in my life. And so they are my hobbies, you know. I love pushing my body past its current limits and getting out training and trying new things, traveling, getting to experience different corners of the globes, different cultures, different belief systems. I absolutely geek out and love studying human behavior, human psychology, human potential, and I love getting to connect with extraordinary human beings and talking about what really matters, and definitely being as authentic as possible and connecting with people who are truly opening up and being all of who they really are. They're my favorite things to do, and that's how I live my life every single day. So hope that answers your question there, Abdul and Kaden. Sometimes the browser messes up on our end and it causes our comments to not post. From my experience, it's the browser's fault. Awesome. You're educating me. I love it, Kaden. Thank you so much for letting me know, because I'm like, what is going on with that? Because I would hate to think people, like, I'm not answering their questions unless they're just, you know, commenting weird stuff. But like, I love to engage with your questions. So thanks, Kaden, you superstar. And Sam, that's a powerful program. Can't wait to enroll. Sam, I can't wait to have you a part of it. I'm super excited about releasing it for you guys. And it's so exciting to me to think that what I could be doing on the one-to-one level, I could be doing in the group dynamic. So I can't wait for that, and I hope that you guys will really take advantage of that as well. So thanks, Sam. Can't wait to share it with you. And Carlos is here, and Safan, you're amazing. And Jamie, helping people, love it, absolutely. And Abdul, I appreciate you too, thank you. And Kaden, I can see that your vision may come sooner than you think. Thank you, Kaden. I probably need to get a lot more clearer on that, but definitely my life is lived in alignment with learning for the purposes of instilling some sort of value into the lives of others. And if I can do that while I'm traveling and looking after my health and beauty, that's actually just authentically me. That's everything about me, you know, teaching and learning and health and beauty and travel. So if you know, I'm an open book that way. So thank you, Kaden. I love that. Thank you for your constant support. You are so appreciated. And Fam, how to find my mission in life. Fam, number one, get to uncover your highest values. I'm always recommending to each and every one of you guys to go to Dr. John Demartini's website. So it's drdemartini.com and look for his values determination test. It's all free. It's all online. The sooner, I just push people to that. There's many different ways of uncovering your values. I've just found that really simple, really realistic, and it's all there stored for you online, so you can come back to it and check it out and redo it, because as you evolve, so too will your values. So it's a great process and it's a great free resource. But once you identify your highest values, your number one value is actually your purpose in life, okay? So the number one thing that you value over and above all else is the very thing that you will push yourself past any sort of discomfort, challenge. You're most inspired to grow yourself in this area. And so to use myself as an example, you know, you can see if I've just shared with you guys my vision plus my values, you can see how they're absolutely in alignment with one another. So yeah, and that's my mission. You know, my mission in life is to, you know, be that, you know, professional international speaker who travels the world and helps people courageously live authentic lives, and definitely, you know, tap into their genius, their greatness, and feel that their lives have some form of contribution and make a meaningful difference, and to get them just living in alignment. So my highest value is teaching. So if I don't engage in teaching, then I'm really just subordinating to somebody else's values. I'm not really stepping into the number one thing that I love to do, and I get so much inspiration and fulfillment from when I feel like I can help to give somebody some sort of knowledge or wisdom that is going to help move the needle forward to their empowerment. That's what my mission is based on. My teaching, and you can't teach without being a constant student. Learning, I learn non-stop. Every waking moment I'm learning or teaching, or I'm looking after my health and beauty, or I'm traveling. Get clear on what your values are and find your purpose in it. Your number one value is that thing that you need to create your purpose in life around. As DeMartini shared with me, the Greeks called that your telos. That is your number one value. It is your purpose. It is your mission created around that thing that you value most. That's it. Don't try and make it something you think it should be, like all of us can get caught up in. You have to be honest with yourself about what matters most to you as an individual without any filters, and align a creative vision and mission with that, and you will be on fire. That is your genius. That is your greatness ready to be unleashed right there in your values. So I love that. And Abdul, yes, I'd love to check out Pakistan. It's somewhere I've never been before. I'd love to check it out at some stage. Abdul, I'm not really sure about the advice for businessmen. Maybe a little bit general, but I'd love to offer you some sort of answer there. But Nas is here, and Kaden, so beautiful. You're so welcome and appreciated as well. I sort of flooded your inbox this morning, lol, but don't worry, none of it is bad news. Oh, good. I can't wait to check that out, Kaden. Thank you so much. I can't wait to check out what you wrote to me. And Nas, hey Vanessa, good to see you live. Hoping all is great. It's so awesome to see you, Nas, and everything is going amazingly well. Hope it is in your world as well. And Elias, thank you for being here. And fam, you are so welcome and you are awesome. So guys, that really is my message for you. Thank you so much for all the questions today, guys. I absolutely get so energized by questions. So I so appreciate each and every one. And Kaden, according to DeMartini's test, my top two, you're an action taker, aren't you? My top two values are actually reversed by far. So thank you for sharing that. That is so awesome to hear, Kaden. Thank you so much for letting me know and for being an inspiring action taker. I love that about you. And that is so, so true. If we can oftentimes idealize what our values are, and if they're not playing out in our lives to the same degree of the hierarchy, it's just not true. So the sooner we get honest with what they are and we live in alignment with that truth, the sooner we're on fire, the sooner we tap into our flow, our genius, our greatness, all that great stuff. So definitely, I love hearing that. Kaden, thanks for sharing. And Paul's here, and Jamie, you're so welcome. And Ramon, you are so welcome as always. And good morning to you, Ravi. That's it from me today, guys. So as always, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. Hope it's beautiful and amazing and extraordinary, just like you. And I really appreciate you guys spending your time with me today. And for the questions, like I said, that's so energizing to me. So thanks for making my day and rocking my world. And I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Much love.